Get your ass over here! Burn it!
I loved the fact that my character has the responsibility of having the flamethrower, you know. I'm gonna be a badass, you know.
Damn it, Charles, torch it!
The responsibility of holding that thing will put a little color in your shorts because it's got like a hair trigger. All you gotta do is tap it and that thing, psst, and it projects 20 or 30 feet, even if you just tap it. At the same time, I was pumped up and happy. I was also scared shitless.
I always thought that the thing was sentient and that it did have a plan. I think it just probably landed in the wrong airport, so to speak.
If you examine the creature, it has one defense-offense, which is to hide, so it imitates.
I think this thing is sentient in that it has an awareness of itself and an awareness of its desire to continue existing.
It has a plan. It is profoundly intelligent. It has absorbed many, many creatures around the universe. It is way smarter than all of us.
I always wondered if you took all your cells of your victim, you know, would you take the sense of smell of the dogs? Would you become a better smeller?
It's just made for a good monster movie.
Those beautiful matte paintings when they're rappelling down where the ship crashed, it's unmatched. There's nothing that looks and feels like that. When you see those beautiful, beautiful Albert Whitlock matte paintings, they're spectacular.
It creates a setting which is real and is also mythic.
I thought it was like a sort of a high intelligent race in the ship, finding specimens, examining them, and they find this creature.
Was the thing piloting the spacecraft at the start of the film? Or was it a passenger on board? Or was it a sample being carried by a Weyland-Yutani type corporation back to whatever planet for use as a bioweapon or something?
When Brimley came in to meet us, John offered him the role on the spot.
He's the one who figures it out at first, asking the questions, how long before the entire world's infected? So we understand his descent into a little bit of paranoid madness.
Now, Will had been a stuntman for years. He stood in for Burt Lancaster and Kirk Douglas. He was a real cowboy.
Will would be doing rope tricks, and they would stop work. Imagine on a feature film, even in 1981, it's hundreds of thousands of dollars an hour. And John allowed all the work to stop for Will to be telling a story while he was doing rope tricks.
He was just the funniest man in the world.
I think the kennel sequence is really enjoyable to watch because every time they cut back, the thing is mutated into something different. And it's so perfectly done with the sound effects, and when the dog walks in.
The animated dog was all on like hydraulics. They had to pump air into the animation of the dog, but it looked so real when I came in. He's like, oh! I was like, that is fascinating.
This is kind of weird. The dog's head begins to split open. It's crazy. It's doing crazy shit.
People talk about design. I always say, well, there's two elements to makeup effects and monsters: horror and beauty. If they don't have both, it's not memorable.
Yeah.
Right? And the moment the head of the dog flowers out, that's as beautiful as a Martha Graham.
Yeah.
The depiction of the Norwegian base, which is visited by Macready and Copper, trying to find out what the hell happened there.
That has the feel of a ghost ship kind of entity.
It gives the whole story a sort of mythical aspect. This thing has happened before.
I think it's Carpenter leaning into his love of cinema and his love of genre cinema that works as a shorthand for the viewer.
They find the guy that was frozen and had slit marks on his wrist. We had taken an impression of our mold maker, Gunnar Ferdinandsen, an expression like this, and the alginate went down his throat, and Gunnar did not move. When they removed it, this big trail of alginate came out. We took some clear fiberglass resin and I tinted it the color of blood.
Frozen blood dripping from a Norwegian dead scientist is so horrifyingly beautiful.
We all got sick on the movie because of the refrigeration, but it was mild refrigeration. It wasn't the real thing.
The entire idea of the cold being the 13th character, it had to always be with us. It wasn't enough to make it look cold, but as John Carpenter put it, how do we get it to feel cold?
We went down to an ice house in Midtown LA to see about building a set in there. We built Hollywood refrigeration. It was intolerably cold.
When you'd be outside, sometimes it'd be pretty chilly. It'd be, maybe 5, 10 below zero.
And cold is what will kill us in the end in the movie, It's quiet, endless, eternal cold waiting for us outside is what makes the movie.
Clint Rowe was the dog handler, and there were 2 dogs, but one in particular was fantastic.
He was half wolf. A wolf doesn't necessarily growl or bark. A wolf looks at you, and then he goes for you. And Jed had that. There was no emotion behind it, but it looked exactly the same as when there was emotion behind it.
When we would shoot his scenes, we had to do a minimum crew, and we'd all sit around the camera very still and let him come in and sniff us all and get used to us.
So I brought these guys in one at a time, and everybody did well except Charlie Hallahan, who was terrified of him. He was like shaking, and Jed was fine around him, but Charlie was like nervous as a cat.
And the studio spent the last few weeks before release trying to get me to change the ending.
Let's face it, they're both going to die.
How will we make it?
Maybe we should.
If you meet a horror fan, to this day, they go, who do you think was the thing?
They want to know who survived, who's the human at the end.
Of course, over the years, I've heard all these theories about why everybody thinks it's me. I don't think it was me, and I don't remember. I think we filmed it both ways, as if it was one of us, and then if we didn't know.
Keith says he knows he wasn't the thing. Okay, fine.
If anyone knows, John only knows.
And I'm not telling them. And that's what's kept this movie alive. And it's still talked about today. If I ever give up the secret of who's the human in the end, I'll destroy it.